This cool minor pentatonic based exercise makes use of hammer-ons and pull-offs. A pull-off, just quickly to make sure we know the techniques, is when you pick a higher fret like the 7 and then you flick off to the lower fret being the 5. That's called a pull-off. A hammer-on again is the reverse, where you start on the lower and you hammer on or you hit on the higher fret. So this exercise makes use of combination of pull-offs and hammer-ons and then a pull-off again. That's just the sequence for the first bar. We're now going to focus in mainly on what our fretting hand's doing, so we're going to bring him closer into view here, and we're going to be using the A minor pentatonic scale as the scale reference that we're going to use for the exercise. So I'm assuming you do know the scale, fret number 5, because that's A. On this scale, you should know that. If you don't know it, please go learn it before you practice this exercise and then come back to it later. But let's learn the exercise. Now we're in groups of 4, which have color coded into working with red and blue. And first red 4 notes are going to be 1, 2, 3, 4. And the next 4 notes are going to be 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. Now we only color coded them just so you can see the groups of 4 easily. So you want to be able to count 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. So you can establish your rhythm while you're playing it. If your rhythm is good, your technique becomes good and you'll be able to apply it to any solo a lot easier as well. Okay. Now just to show what the picking hand is doing here, I'm going to bring it back into view. You can see over here, I'm going to use a different color pick because this is obviously not very, very bright. There we go. That sticks out a lot easier. And you can see when I'm picking and when I'm not picking. Watch this over here. Now what I want you to also notice there is when we play that over and over, as you finish that last phrase, that we came back to the beginning without missing a beat. So we're going to quickly show you the exercise. Once you know it, loop it, in other words play it repeatedly, and then try and increase the speed without missing a beat. Okay, let's focus now on the fretting hand once more and learn the sequence. These are the notes as written on the PDF file that we sent through to accompany the video. And we're going to start at fret number 7, slow motion, first 8 notes. Pull off there. Hammer. And then pull off. Okay, now the next bar, the next 8 notes, also starts with a pull off. Hammer on. Pull off. So you'll notice now that if you compare bar 1 and bar 2, even though the notes are on different strings, the sequence of events, in other words, pull off, go to the thicker string, hammer on, go to the thinner string, and pull off gets repeated, and you can see it here. Pull off, thicker string, hammer, thinner string, pull off. And then we started on the 3rd string, same sequence, same concept. So the techniques are repeated even though the notes are different. And then for the 4th bar, we need to get the pinky active because we're going to fret number 8, because if we know your scale shape, that's the note we need to play. And you want the pinky to be nice and strong, so it sounds like that. Okay. Make sure you get it nice and smooth. Now, before we finish off this, I want us to be able to practice doing this at different positions on the fretboard, because obviously by fret number 5, the frets are quite wideish. When we get to fret number 12, the frets are a bit narrower, which means that your fingers are much more closer together. Now, you'll notice that the middle finger didn't get used for the first one, it's not going to get used at all for this exercise. Okay, so now we're going to do the same concept, but from fret 14 to fret 12. And then as high as your guitar will allow you to get, by fret, for example, 17 and 19, my fingers are really sort of squeezing together, but you want to have the same level of control that you had lower down. You want to enjoy higher up as well. So we're going to try it here. Hopefully I'm not going to fluff a note or two. Let's give it a go. And there we go. I hope you enjoyed this exercise. Make sure you can play it low down, somewhere in the middle, and high up, so you get used to the different widths of the frets. And then board speed, use a metronome. So get something from the internet. There's a lot of nice apps for metronomes. Put the metronome on, something goes ding, tuck, 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 ding, tuck, 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 excuse the special effects, and practice along with that. If you've got any questions, give us a call, drop us a WhatsApp. Otherwise, have a great day and get this working. It works really well for improvising.